Hi everyone, it's Alexandria, Jersey's princess, here at Bravery Studios in the Empire Building. And I have a very special, awesome, strong, brave guest that I have on my show today. I'm more than delighted to have him here with us to share with us his story, his journey, and what he continues to do. His name is Ian Cannon.
How are you, everyone? Thanks for having me. And I'm at your disposal. My hope is that you guys find my story interesting and it'll motivate you on your fitness and disability journey because, as we all know, depending on our challenges, fitness is a lifestyle, and that's what I'm here to talk about today.
Yes. So Ian, you have a neurological condition called no, also known as CP, cerebral palsy. I don't know much about that. All I know is that it is a neurological condition that there is no cure and there are different ways to go about, like to help alleviate some of the symptoms. And I want to know, like, tell me about how this all happened. Was it during birth, right after you know?
So they believe it was during my birth. My mom had a pretty stressful birth. I was a twin. My twin unfortunately did not make it. CP is common in twin and preemie births, and they don't know exactly where my lack of oxygen occurred during delivery. But when I was diagnosed at the age of 3, they thought I was going to be nonverbal, cognitively impaired, visually impaired, hearing impaired, sort of the whole gamut. And thankfully, I developed essentially normally, except for lack of mobility. And that was sort of my journey. And then, by the grace of God, I discovered boxing as a teenager, and now we're here.
I'm so happy you're here. You're here conversing with me. You're talking. I understand on a different aspect because I also have a neurological disease known as MS. So that affects everything as well as your speech impairment. But I could hear you clearly, and here you are. You're sitting up straight. You look good. And I love that you box. That's the best therapy, like the hand-eye coordination to help build your stamina.
Oh,
That's,
absolutely. It's all about muscle confusion,
yep.
um, regenerative neural pathways, all the things that those of us in the neuro world hear about and talk about. So I started boxing at the age of 14. My mom agreed to take me to the gym after begging her for 2 years and seeing the movie Cinderella Man. And my mom and I didn't have the greatest relationship, so I didn't go very often. But then my parents divorced and I moved in with my dad. And because his father was a physician, he recognized the biomechanical benefits of training. And I said I wanted to do this instead of PT because PT is boring, as we all know, and they don't push you as hard as you want to be pushed. So I went to the gym every day and developed a fitness program for those with disabilities called Roll with the Punches, and we had enormous success across the disability gambit. We were dealing with spinal cord injury, stroke, other neurological conditions, CP, and myself. And we had people come to us in chairs and leave walking. We had a paraplegic woman regain sensation and partial bladder control working with us. And this is all just through regular combat sports training, which I know in your personal life you know quite a bit about. So that's what we did, and then it morphed into competition and me fighting because I wanted to be like my able-bodied friends, and we developed the rules with boxing great referee Steve Smoger, may he rest in peace, and found a manager in Al Valente who guided Mickey Ward through his career, trained with Mickey Ward, trained with Danny McDermott and Little Mac Boxing down in Jersey, who I know you guys know well.
Yes.
And you know, the rest is history.
Listen, I love what you do. That recreational, the boxing, you're showing that anybody could do it. You don't have to just be able-bodied. You could have a disability, and this is so therapeutic what you're learning because you have to also learn how to block your punches, throw the punch, and rolling. I think that's amazing. They say a lot of boxers they train and do ballet. Is that true?
That is true. You gotta, I mean, a lot of boxers I know did do ballet or some form of dance to get their balance and their footwork, and that's one of the things with my walking and able-bodied fighters that I advocate that they do gymnastics and ballet so that they can learn that flexibility, learn that muscular control, and be better reactive in the ring. And I mean, for myself, when I was training, because as you mentioned, CP can affect coordination. I have an affected side, which is my left side. My left side doesn't work as well as my right. So incorporated, quite a bit of different elements to do that, whether it was mitt work or using the maze bag, which is like the speed bag, but it's got two strings on it, and you move and slip to avoid the bag and counter. So there were all kinds of different things we did neural wise, but I always advocate dance for my walking fighters.
Absolutely, because even with boxing or dance, any type of movement, like you said, it builds up that neuroplasticity. Your brain needs it. And no matter what condition, if you're in, whether you're a paraplegic, quadriplegic, have CP, you could do it. You just have to have that mindset. And I understand, like, when it comes to physical therapy or occupational therapy, it could get, a bit redundant and boring, repetitive. But when you incorporate something such as boxing, it's a lot different. And I love that you're in the ring. I have to go to one of your games.
We'd love to have you to fight. I'm currently semi-retired because I'm getting married, and
Congratulations.
thank you very much. She's wonderful. But I'm thinking after recovering from surgery that I may get back in the ring for one more. Nothing crazy, no title shot. This isn't a comeback, but we'll see how I do. I've got to get back in the gym and sort of see what's under the hood and move around a little bit, because fighters, whether they have a disability or able-bodied, they can stay around too long and cause damage. And I'm 32. I don't want to be that guy. So,
I understand.
but I have to say that the combat sports community was the most disability accepting community that I've ever been a part of. It was really amazing. And forgive the watery eyes, we're painting in my apartment, so we've got dust and everything everywhere. But they were the most accepting and loving community that I've ever been a part of as far as disability goes. It was amazing.
Yeah, because you know what? It's a lot of time, a lot of consistency, and I can imagine with boxing, it's a lot of mental power, not
Uh,
just physical. You have to mentally get yourself there to do it. And I
uh,
want to know, tell me about your first time in the ring. Like, how was
oh
it?
man, I was 18 years old. I did an exhibition with an able-bodied title contender, Matt Remlard, who's since retired. He was a featherweight. I was a bit under that weight, but the commission didn't know that. We fudged things on the scale just slightly, and I gained a bunch of weight, so we were okay. And you know, it was it was empowering. Just think, you've been told every day that you're limited and that you can't do all these things, and then you're doing one of the most physically demanding and most reactive activities in the world, and you have to have faith in your body. You have to have faith that your body will perform. And for somebody with a disability, and I'm sure you can relate to this in your own journey with dance, how empowering that is to have that feeling that you can finally trust your body and trust yourself to perform adequately.
Absolutely. I really do. Because there was a time where I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't see or walk or talk. And I understand when it comes to the science world, medical world, I see what the lab tests say, but every individual is, yeah, we're all virtually the same, but we are different. We're made differently. And it all determines on your determination. And I love how your determination overrides everything. Look at what you accomplished. Like, you even have fundraisers coming out of here. Like, look at stayed over in New Jersey. I'm talking to Ian Cannon. Cannon, you throw the punches, and I'm really, really proud of you.
Well, thank you for that. That's an amazing compliment. And we're
You're welcome.
currently relaunching Roll with the Punches, partnering with several gyms all across the East Coast, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, to really grow and provide the fitness aspect of what we do, similar to Rocksteady Boxing and Punch for Parkinson's and all those great programs, to show the rehabilitative power of combat sports as a whole and get away from that thug mentality that everybody sees when they think about it.
Yeah, and this also gives insight on the opposite side to those that do the healing and the curing, the doctors and the nurses. We're showing them as their patients, look at what we're able to do. Look what the human body is capable of doing. Whether you have CP or not, you're doing it. You're talking
Speaking
to
of
me.
that,
You're talking, you're on this show right now.
speaking of that, in 2011, we did a study with the University of Hartford on the effects of boxing and skeletal loading. And for those that don't know what that means, that's simulated weight bearing, because a lot of us who have disabilities don't weight bear properly, so our bones become brittle and weak. But hitting the bag and lifting the weights is exercising those bones so they're becoming denser and we don't break, right?
Awesome.
So I went from a bone density score of -3. The worst is 5. I never had a fracture,
Okay.
never had any issues. And then I went all the way to 0 to where I was normal through training, right? So look at the power and the empirical evidence that we can show the medical community of what we do.
Yeah, our bodies are amazing and are able, I feel like we are able to rejuvenate ourselves. We just have to learn how to manipulate that. And I just feel boxing, it never ends. I don't know if you could ever perfect boxing,
No,
but it's a challenge.
you're always learning, just
You're
like
always
dance.
learning.
Just like dance, you're always learning new steps, new routines, new moves. Same mentality here. And for us with disabilities, I always say two things. One, disability is a choice, not in terms of the diagnosis, but in terms of how we perceive ourselves and let the world perceive us. And there's a motto that I live by. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. And when you dive into that, if you have a disability, there are three environments. There's the physical, the mental, and the emotional. And on any given day, the physical, because of my disability, is 60 to 80% mine. So in order to achieve balance, I've got to keep it at 110, 120 on the other two. That way I achieve spiritual and emotional balance and can achieve my goals. And that's what I try to do every day in the gym.
And you're doing that. So to keep up with CP every day, that's like your therapy. You go to the gym daily.
I go to the gym roughly 3 to 4 times a week, plus PT twice a week. So it's really a lifestyle choice, and that's what those of us with disabilities need to accept and learn, that we need to stay fit every day and do something active every day, even if we don't want to. I get that it's hard. I get that we all have our off days, particularly with CP, and I'm sure you feel the same way with MS. But we need to at least do something physical, even if it's going for a walk or a roll or whatever the heck it may be. Try to achieve that so that we can maintain that neuroplasticity and move forward with our lives.
I absolutely love all your advice, Ian. I love what you do and how you're bringing basically the whole East Coast like together and allowing everybody to incorporate things. I hope hospitals could start picking up on these things and give you a choice. Because not only that, like if you're a young person with a disability, especially, or even an 18-year-old, and it's devastating to find out you have CP, what you can and cannot do. But knowing that you have an option, a different outlet, a different recreational thing to do, that's awesome. And you're raising awareness and you're bringing people together. And I feel like one day there actually will be a cure. Is there anything that any new things are coming on for CP? Are they any
Well, one
new?
of the things that I advocate are three things. One, and these are all medically supervised, stem cell research and stem cell infusion. For muscular recovery, to daily neuroplasticity, use of electrostimulation, all that kind of weird experimental stuff that pro athletes use, whether it's cryogenic chamber, unless you're sensitive to cold like I am,
Me too.
or um, all those things that pro athletes use. If you can find a fitness facility and a university that's willing to use you as a study and you present yourself as a subject and say, hey, this is what I want to do, just like I did at the University of Hartford, then you're able to have access to these things and gauge your body's response and use it as an empirical study to move forward and present to your providers. Hopefully, they'll provide you a script and you can make a case for a letter of justification with insurance. We all know how evil insurance companies can be. I'm not even going to get started on
Oh,
that
I
topic
know. I
because
know.
I
I just feel like if we have a disability that's permanent forever, we're labeled this way. Why do we have to go through the rigmarole? It's a catch 22, and I believe one day it will change. And just like today, it's changing. We're talking about stem cells. These are things we couldn't really do even a decade ago. Now we're getting more familiarized, and it won't be so weird. It's very natural. Stem cells, we're all born with it. Placentas, we all came from there. It's doable. We live in the 21st century, and look at what you're able to do, what you're doing right now. And Ian, I want you to tell us, like, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me Ian Cannon on Facebook, Two Guns Boxing, BOXIN, on Instagram, and I'm always available. I'm always available for advice, to reach out, help you find a gym. The other thing that I focus on is disability employment, because we're a great source of executive or upper level management because of how we live. And strategically, we're problem solvers, and we move that way. So anytime I hear I can't get a job or I'm having difficulty getting employed, I say go into your employer and present yourself as into going to New York on your own. This is what I always use in every interview. I have to
Yeah.
think strategically when I take the train. Who do I talk to? Who do I ask for help? When I do it, how do I do it? Do I present myself like a tough guy, or do I go more like a supplicant, not to use a negative term, but how do I evaluate and use those people skills? And then I
Yeah.
say that in every sales career that I've ever had, because when I'm not in the gym, I work in sales, and that worked beautifully for me. So you're empowered, and you can live a quote unquote normal life. You may achieve that goal differently, but you can do it through fitness, you can do it through employment, you can do it through all those things, as long as you accept that your journey will be different and it will be difficult, but you can achieve those healthy, normative human goals.
Absolutely, the power of speech and to advocate for yourself, even if you're traveling, even to the airport, even myself. Like, if I go to the airport, I need that wheelchair because it's too much of a distance to walk. You have to speak up for yourself and to never be embarrassed. And Ian, like, what would you say to somebody or your old self, your younger self, back when you're 18, someone that has CP or those that are born with it today? What's your advice to them?
My advice to them is to live every day as a learning experience. Yes, we get angry. Yes, we get frustrated. That's normal and that's healthy. A lot of people would say that it won't, but it's real. And everything real is a learning experience and healthy. And I would say to embrace your differences and learn to use your disability as a strength. In employment, learn to monetize it and become an advocate. In fitness, learn to use it as a tool to educate others and bring about positive change.
And you're all about that. I see your posts, I watch your videos, and you're positive. You're positive, and I like that you keep going because life is hard for every human being, whether you're healthy or not, disabled or not. Life is hard, and it's your mental. It's your thinking power. The mind is a very powerful thing, and you have to overcome that first. And I love that you do that with boxing. I'm excited. I need to get myself some boxing gloves, and I I want to congratulate you on your wedding. And whenever you do go back to the ring, I'll be there and love to cheer you on.
Well, I really appreciate that. And I'm going to send you, uh, we'll talk about it off camera, one of the team t shirts that we have. And I'll send you
Yay!
one so that you can have that and enjoy that. And when you want to if you want to get into boxing, talk to me. We'll help
Okay.
find you a gym that works. I know several in North Bergen that would be great for
Oh
you.
yeah, North Bergen. Yes.
And I always say that life is a choice. You can either live your life or let your life live you. And that goes for anybody, no matter their ability level. and that's just what it is. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
I love it. I love what you do. Keep doing what you do. And I can't thank you enough, Ian, for coming on to my show today. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to have you welcome you back. One day maybe you could come in here, come to the studio. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
We've just
we'll
had,
bring all the boxers in. Danny McDermott, Danny Provenzano, and we just, I I'm in awe of what you do, and you inspire and motivate everyone. And continue doing it. And I want to wish you an awesome rest of your day and holidays and Christmas. And
well, thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
I'm not an inspiration. I'm just a regular guy. Those that view me as an inspiration, it's a true privilege, and I treat it as such. So, thank you so much, and
Yeah.
you have a wonderful holiday and a wonderful day.
You too. You inspire and motivate so many. So thank you.
No problem.
Take care.
You as well.